Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on using the new online immigration self-service portal. My name is Daniel. I'm a caseworker with Migrant Rights Centre Ireland, MRCI. So before we get started on today's topic, just a quick summary of who is Migrant Rights Centre Ireland, MRCI. So we're a national organisation who are working to advance the rights of migrant workers and their families at risk of exploitation, social exclusion and discrimination. We handle up to 3,500 cases a year through our National Information and Support Centre. We provide information support and advocacy on a wide variety of issues, including immigration rights and employment rights. And we've been taking a stand with migrants to tackle the root causes of inequality since 2001. So just a quick disclaimer, these materials have been prepared by the Migrant Rights Centre Ireland for information purposes only, with no guarantee as to accuracy or applicability to a particular set of circumstances. The materials are not intended and should not be considered to be legal advice. The information given may change from time to time and may be out of date. The Migrant Rights Centre Ireland disclaims any legal responsibility for the content or the accuracy of the information provided. MRCI is not a practicing law centre. And just to also mention, this customer service portal, which we'll go into, is a new addition. So there are changes being made to it regularly at the moment. So especially in this case, there may be new updates or changes to the system. The agenda for today, so we're going to talk about what the Immigration Customer Service Portal is and why it's important, how to make an account and ID PAL document verification on this system, making a first-time immigration registration appointment, how to submit an application or query through the portal, how to check the status of an application, as well as some useful tips and known issues with the portal that we have experienced. So let's get started. Firstly, what is the Immigration Customer Service Portal and why is it so important? You can see on this slide here the announcement of the new system, which launched from the 24th of October 2024. One important thing to note is that you will see this being referred to as the Digital Contact Center or the Customer Service Portal. Those names are interchangeable and they mean the same thing. You will see both being referred to at times. So essentially, this system allows users to book a first-time registration appointment, which has replaced the call option that was previously available, where you would call to make an appointment. Now it is purely done through this website. Submitting applications to the Department of Justice is now done through the portal. So for example, reactivation applications, change of status, that kind of thing. You can also check the status of existing already submitted applications through the portal. And also this is now being used to submit queries and communicate with all the different immigration divisions, which is replacing the individual emails for each department. Now it's done through this website. Just an important thing to note, we get a fair few questions about this. The ISD or INIS website is still used to renew IRP cards, apply for citizenships, and the other parts such as Turkish agreement that are still done through there. The plan eventually is to combine, as far as we understand, these different systems, but for now that's still a separate website. So how to make an account? As you can see on the left, you will open the customer service portal by following the link. And the link is there. You will see what's on photo 1 on the left-hand side. You would click login and register. The next point in photo number 2, you click don't have an account at the bottom, and you proceed to follow the steps in order to create your account. Now, it's important to note that when it asks for details, make sure that the details that you're providing match the identity document. So we're talking about first name, surname, that kind of thing. If there are any discrepancies between what you type and your identity document, there may be issues with creating an account. So you can see here, these are the steps in terms of creating an account, verifying an email address, putting in your details, your nationality and your passport information, creating a password, and verifying the mobile. After that's done, you'll have created an account, and the next step is what's called ID PAL identity verification. So to create an account, an identity document must be verified. In terms of the identity documents that are accepted, at the moment, they accept passports or national IDs and driving licenses from any country. They do need to be in date, expired ones will not work. So after you create the account, you'll receive a text message, which you can see in photo 1, to download the ID Pal app. So you follow the link in the text message, which will bring you to photo 2 to download the app and upload your document to the Department of Justice. So once you've installed the app, you can open it and press Create a Submission and follow the steps after that. Now, one thing that's important to keep in mind is that photocopies or scans are not accepted. It needs to be an original document. So this is the steps, as you can see here on the left-hand side. In this example, they are using a driving license. So you can see you will hover over with your camera the license. It'll go green, which means it's capturing, and then it will verify the document. And then after that, you need to scan your face. Now, this isn't a photograph, it's just a scan. So you'd follow the instructions on screen, hold it steady when it says so, and that's the ID verification part completed. After that, you'll need to insert personal information as shown in the photo on the left. This includes name, date of birth, address as well on the next page. It's very important again that this information matches any on the identity documents. If there are any discrepancies, again, they will likely refuse your verification. After that's done, that's the verification system completed. If you receive a message, usually a text, saying that the submission failed, you should create a new submission and try again. We would suggest that you try again a number of times before emailing them for support, which I will discuss a little bit later. Otherwise, if everything works, you'll get a confirmation text message that your identity has been verified, in which case you can go back to the portal website, not the app, the actual portal website, and log in, and you can start using your account. So in terms of, as I said, one of the most important features of this new system is to make a first-time registration appointment. So if this is your first IRP card registration or your permission has been expired for more than 6 months, you need to make a first-time registration appointment. Now, one of the recent changes is that regardless of what county you are living in, all appointments are now in the Burgh Key Immigration Office in Dublin. This replaces the local GNIB officers. All appointments are in Dublin now. Just keep in mind that at the moment there's an over 2 month backlog, so we would suggest that you book your appointment as early as you can. You can see on the left-hand side in the photo, in order to book an appointment, that's the home page there that you will see when you log in. You press first time registration appointment, which I've circled there. There is an option once you select your date as well to cancel or reschedule the appointment if required. And once you register your appointment, you will receive an email with the details, so the address, time, date of where you need to go, as well as what documents you are required to bring. Another, as I mentioned, useful use for this portal is submitting applications or queries to various departments. So if you need to contact any immigration division, the portal can now be used. As I said, this is replacing the email system that was used previously. So for example, you can contact citizenship, domestic residence and permission, EU treaty rights, IRP registration. You can contact them all through the portal now. So you can see on the left-hand side, again, this is the home screen, the other main button, which I have circled, submit query. You press that in order to start to submit either a query or an application. Certain applications are now also submitted through the portal. So you select your query category, write a message, attach any necessary documentation, and submit your query. So you can see here when you go into the submit a query, there's a number of query categories. In this example here, you can see in black is what you will see. I have added the text in red, just explaining each category. You won't see that when you are looking at this. However, you can use this presentation to check just a bit more information on each query category. So after that, as I said, you select your query category, you submit your query, attach any documents, and then after that, when you will get an automated email saying your query has been submitted. When you receive an answer to your query, you'll receive an email stating that your query has been closed, in which case you need to log back onto the portal, uh, click on the Queries tab at the top of the page, which you can see in photo 1, I've pointed with the red arrow. Then you go into closed queries and click the blue number under query ID. Again, you can see that in photo 1. After you click that blue number, you will get what you can see in photo 2 with query details and query history. You can press on the query histories arrow, and that will show you the answer to your query. If you feel that your question hasn't been answered or you need to follow up, there is a follow-up option, a button you can press to submit a further message as part of your query. So in terms of, it's just worth pointing out as well that there is a third-party advocacy option for all of the different categories. So if someone is advocating on behalf of somebody else, there is an option which is solicitor or third-party advocate query option. So if you're doing that, you should refer to the name and reference number, if available, of the person or the specific application you are contacting about so that they can find what you are referring to. And if you are, one thing we would suggest just from our own experience, if you're submitting an application on someone else's behalf, for example, for reactivation, we would suggest that you go through the submit an application option the same way as anyone would, rather than the solicitor or third-party advocate option. Finally, another useful purpose for this portal is to be able to check on the status of applications that have already been submitted. So in order to do that, you click on the status tab at the top of the page, which you can see in the photo I have circled. So this will show then a drop-down menu of all pending applications and their status. In the case of the example I have here, there are no applications, so there's nothing shown. If you've submitted an application that should be showing up there, but it's not, I would suggest that you submit a query to the relevant department to ask them to make sure that your application has been received and to query why it's not in the status tab. Now, in terms of useful tips for using the portal, just a few things to highlight that may help. At the very top of the page, there is a choose your language feature, which will translate the portal. So if English is not your first language, this may be helpful. Now, we do get a lot of questions about what to do if you don't have the ID documents that they require in order to make an account, or if you have any technical issues to access the portal. There's an email, immigration portal support at justice.ie, that you can email directly. I would suggest that you send them an email, explain the situation, and they should be able to get back to you and hopefully resolve your access issues and get you into the portal. Another useful thing to note is that there's been a guide recently released by the Department of Justice on using the portal, which we have a link to in the slides, but also it is now available when you are logging onto the portal. There is a guide link on the main page. Now, if when you're scanning the ID it's not working, it can be awkward to do. There's an option called manual capture, which you can switch to, where you can just take a photo instead of scanning the ID. This can be easier sometimes, so you can try both. You can see in the photo below, for basic non-personal questions, for example, how do I apply for reactivation or how do I navigate the website, you can use the Tara AI chatbot. I've pointed to it at the bottom of the page there. Now, this would be for kind of generic non-personal questions, because if you're asking about something specific to your application, you should submit a query. But for basic questions, that can be helpful. Now, if you need to change the phone number on your account, you can press View Account on the home page. I don't know if you can see it there next to my name, but you can press that and change your number there. One thing to note is that the portal can be used pretty much identically on a laptop computer or a smartphone. So this guide will apply for both using it on a computer or a smartphone. And finally, when you're following up on an application, we would advise you to quote a reference number or application ID so that they can find what you are referring to easier. In terms of some known issues that we are experiencing with the portal that are worth highlighting, the ID scan itself can be difficult. There can be issues with a glare from lights or a blur. So just make sure that you kind of avoid glares or blurs as much as possible. And again, a reminder that photocopies of IDs are not accepted. You need to be able to scan the actual ID document. Now, if you receive a message When you're clicking on the link to download the IDPal app or to do the verification, if you receive a message that the link has expired, you can email immigration portal support at justice.ie and ask them for a new link and they will provide it. The links now are lasting at least 30 days, but if they do expire, just email them for a new link. One issue that we have highlighted with the department and they are aware of is that when you're submitting a query or an application, at the moment, you can only attach one document to the query. This can be awkward for, say, applications where you need to submit multiple documents. So there are two ways around this. You can either use external websites to merge PDF files. We've included a link to one in the more info slide in the presentation. Or alternatively, you can submit one document with the query and then go back to your open query and there's an option to attach additional documentation. Now, there is a regular error that we are seeing when you're trying to verify your mobile or log in. You have reached the limit of text messages and it won't send you a text message in order to be able to log in or to create your account. We again have raised this with the department. They are aware of it and are working on a solution. But at the moment, what you should do is just wait and try again another time. It will work eventually, but there isn't really any way around it at the moment. Now, ID verification can regularly be rejected. For whatever reason, maybe if the scan was not very clear or if there's some kind of issues. As I said at the beginning, what you should do is try to make a number of new submissions first. But if it's continuously not working, you should email immigration portal support at justice.ie and they should be able to manually verify your identity. Now, we are aware as well of driving licenses sometimes not working for IDPAL. They should be working. And again, if that's the only document you have, you should email that immigration portal support email if the verification isn't working. But we have found that the passport generally is the best option for verifying identity. So that's pretty much everything in terms of today's webinar. Just to highlight that our Information and Support Center in MRCI is open for people who need support. However, it's currently running on an appointment basis. So if you'd like to speak to a caseworker, the best way to get in touch is to send us a message through the contact page on our website. You can see what that looks like on the right-hand side. You can just fill out your information and send us a message with as much detail as possible about your situation and what you need support with, and a caseworker can get back to you as soon as possible. And these are some of the useful links and information which you'll see when we send out the presentation to everybody. Finally, just if you would like to get involved with the work that MRCI does, we have a few links here. If you would like to join our campaigns, you can follow the first link if you would like to sign up as a supporter or if you wish to donate to MRCI. And finally, for regular updates, both on the portal itself, but on any information, we put regular updates on social media around immigration and employment in particular. Please do feel free to follow us on any of the social medias below. And that's everything for today. Thank you all very much for attending today's webinar, and we hope that it was helpful.